think that was most amazing was how we would be in 3 different groups of authors, and really, when it came down to asking about, like, what our core and central message was, it no matter what book that we were in, it was always coming back to that same core principle of love and support and connection, and, to be in a community of people who are reflecting that back to each other, no matter our, what our backgrounds were, that was the amazing piece, right? To just feel rejuvenated and connected, to be connected to this international community of thinkers, of people who are willing to create something beautiful together, was really an amazing piece.
This is the second time that I've written with Steph, and it was another phenomenal experience. I was fascinated to see how the book came together again, with everybody writing individually, how it comes together collectively. I read the entire book, and I cried, I laughed, I resonated with every author's story. I could sit and write my own experiences, based on what I read from theirs, and, it was just it warmed my heart.
I want to just really express my deep gratitude for Steph Ritz. This is our most recent collaboration project, and it's not the only one I've done with her. The moment I saw her speak on a stage and tell her story with so much vulnerability and passion, I just gravitated to her like a magnet. And it's been something like 6 years, I don't know, somewhere around that ballpark since we've worked together. We've done two collaborative books together. She's published one of my books, my solo projects. She is the reason I have a website. She is the reason that I feel so inspired to continue writing. And I know that I have so much to share with the world. And she really taught me how to find my voice, how to put my message out there, how to do it with less and less fear over the years. And just is not only a supporter, a marketer, a publisher, a editor, but just like I feel like so connected, like soul sisters. Like I am just grateful every day that I found her, and I feel like I get to unfold and blossom and unravel because she has so much structure and vision in her brain about all these things that go together. So I've been able to work with her from start to finish on my branding, on my writing, on my development as a passionate visionary. And she is just awesome.
This is the second uh, project that I've been on with you, Steph Ritz, and I'm always amazed at, the interweaving between us all and how important it is that we are able to see ourselves in others, and hopefully others can see themselves, in us as we're on our individual journeys, but also our collective journey as humanity.
There's an aspect of a leap of faith when you're writing one chapter with a number of other busy professionals. Because it's like you don't know what it's going to be in the end. So it's a leap of faith to write your piece and kind of hope that it's all going to cohese when it needs to. And I think that it certainly has. And the difference in our voices actually sounds good because we have that shared thread.
Yes, it was so amazing to come into this journey with everybody. When I first started, I didn't even feel like I should be here because everyone's energy and what they brought to the table and the level of enlightenment and enthusiasm and all of the various different stories that really inspired me and helped me to come out of my shell in a group and discover some things that I didn't even know was going on inside of me. So that was really an amazing journey to collaborate with everybody here. It was just so beautiful, and it really changed my life and gave me enthusiasm and inspiration to possibly write my own story in my own book.
I enjoyed writing in collaboration because it's one thing when you write by yourself and then, you're trying to do things yourself, but having a team of people, I feel like Steph, you really pushed us like, no, you need to get this done. Because if I was doing this by myself, I'd have been like, I'll do it next week. And next week would have never came. And so it also helped me when I would hear other people talking about whatever their story was. Like, oh yeah, let me get on this. I got to do this. And just listening to people's stories, I always find fascinating and very engaging. I love the storyteller aspect of it. So I really enjoyed that because then people had different things they were focusing on. So it was nice to hear something maybe very different from yours. But I think at the end of the day, everybody's books were about healing. Everything was about healing at the end of the day. I do feel that. And what I appreciate about Steph Ritz is that how she pushes us, how she was consistent with us meeting, like we're gonna meet at this time, and here's a Zoom chat, because I can think of all types of excuses why I can't get something done. And I just love how she pulled us together and was like, this is how we have to make it happen. The ability that Steph has to collect everybody together and pull it on in, like, come on, let's go, let's go. Sometimes you need that push. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all the examples that Steph had when she was like, this is what an introduction could look like. Steph would give us these questions like during our time together, like, what do you think of this? And they seem so random, or make a story. And then I got it when I was getting close to done, just to make you really get into that story writing process. So those are some of the things that Steph Ritz helped me out with.
We need that muse. We need a key to open up that gateway to our experiences. And just being part of this book, being part of this collaboration really forced me to perform. Forced me to actually sit down and tap into that wisdom and understanding that's always been there. I didn't have the key to open up the door. I didn't know how to do it. After writing this chapter, I've just become more committed to being who it is that I truly am, and no longer hiding, because everything that I wrote is now kind of coming out and it's out in the open. I wrote things that have been hidden away for a very long time that I wasn't acknowledging. And so just from writing this chapter, I myself have become much more empowered to express my soulful self, my true self, into the world, and to really not look back.
So it's my second time working with you, Steph, in terms of a collaboration. The first time was my own book. This time is a collaboration. So I got to see the best of both. And I really enjoyed doing the collaboration. It's been wonderful. You're super supportive, and it's just you feel like you always have support. I think that's what I would say the most. And you also have a lot of direction too, because as a relatively new author, I mean, I couldn't do it on my own. Working with you has been awesome, and I definitely recommend it for anybody who wants to get their words into a book.
When I went back and read all of the author's chapters and saw that these chapters were all in alignment with one another, even though when we started out, the different authors didn't know what each other was going to be writing about. And so there's an integration process here that is just amazing. And that is what has most surprised me. What's really wonderful about this opportunity, and a little scary, was to be able to really go back over some key points in my life and be able to share those with this project with the other authors, but also for myself. So I had a lot of aha moments for myself, like, wow, that's right, that did happen. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, that's what that really meant for me. And so it was kind of a 360 for me, going back and tapping into some very key parts of my journey.
I feel so very grateful and blessed to be a part of this project, a part of this book, a part of this series. It does feel very sacred to me. So just the name of the series is so true, so real, so beautiful. And excuse me, seeing and kind of reading about the other authors in this book and also what they've written, it makes me feel a little bit less alone in that. And I've always understood that everyone has traumas that they endure in their lives, and we can't quantify trauma. We can't compare trauma amongst ourselves, because what may seem extremely traumatizing for one person, depending on the traumas that someone else has experienced, may or may not. And no, regardless of what the trauma was, that physiological, that body response is the same in all of us. So it really helps me to see this group kind of as a family in a lot of ways, that we are all coming from different cultures, different backgrounds, different walks of life. We've all experienced such different types of traumatic experiences, or just life experiences, period, whether they're traumatic or not. And I just feel so blessed and so grateful, because being able to be a part of this book and being in collaboration with all of these other beautiful authors and these beautiful people really just helps me to feel like, we're kind of all in this together. And by that, I mean in this world, like we're all in this world together, and we're all doing the best that we can every moment that we can. When I was reading my chapter, I had some fears, and I'm like, well, what if so-and-so, or what if they read this, or what if this person reads it? I don't have to be afraid. Like you said, it's our truth and it's our story. And really what matters is the process that has put in place for our lives, for who we are today, and how we pass that on.